Can you believe it's Thursday already? I can't, but what I can believe is that I'm Rolene Marks with your news headlines right here on the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, before we head off to commemorate Pesach. So let's take a look at those top stories making headlines, and we begin with Iftar Shover Galim, or Operation Breaking Waves, Breaking Water, depends on the translation you are using. And we begin with news that at least 5 Palestinians have been killed in heavy clashes with Israeli security forces as they continue their extensive counter-terror operations around the West Bank. This follows a spate of terror attack that has seen at least 14 people murdered. Now, last night, an Israeli man was almost lynched and his car set on fire as he took a wrong turn into Bethlehem. It is unclear how he managed to get to safety, but thank goodness that he did. Israeli troops also confirmed last night that they surrounded a building in the town of Silwad. It is believed that troops foiled a cell planning to carry out terror attacks during this time of Pesach or Passover, and they pleaded with those inside to come out and turn themselves in. Meanwhile, earlier today, 4 extremist Jewish men were arrested for planning to carry out a ritualistic animal sacrifice on the Temple Mount. A goat was found in their possession and, thank goodness, managed to escape unharmed. Hamas have warned that if there are any acts of this kind, they will escalate from the Gaza Strip, and factions met yesterday to discuss a possible escalation, calling on Palestinians to go to the Al-Aqsa Mosque tomorrow, which is Friday, and defend it. Now, these 4 extremists were trying to carry out a ritualistic slaughter that would have taken place during the time of the Bible. The Temple Mount, as many people know it, has the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa, and actually sits on top of the site that was the place where Judaism's 2 holy temples once stood, and is considered the most sacred place in Judaism. Meanwhile, President Herzog has said that he hopes to meet with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in the coming days to talk about ways to stop the violence. He also went on to condemn member of Knesset Odeh's comments during the course of the week, very, very controversial comments, calling on Arabs not to serve in the police forces, or what he calls the forces of the occupier. A study was conducted this week to determine what Arab Israelis feel about this recent increase in tensions and violence, and the results were as follows. The majority of Israeli Arabs surveyed say that they absolutely condemn any violence or any uptick in incitement, saying that it does not represent Arab Israeli society as a whole. We now go to Turkey, and Turkey's foreign minister has said that the country wants to increase ties with the state of Israel, and that they hope for them to be sustainable. But he did go on to say that ties with Israel are contingent or depend on the Palestinians having their rights. He cited what they see as violations of international law by the state of Israel, and said that since 1949, any tensions between Turkey and Israel are largely due to any violations of Palestinians' rights and not bilateral relations. We would just caution the Turkish foreign minister to also have a look at the incitement of violence and also the refusal of numerous peace plans by the Palestinians before making such loaded statements. Meanwhile, he is due to visit Israel next month to meet with Foreign Minister Lapid. They will be discussing reopening embassies in Ankara and in Tel Aviv. Both countries have recalled their ambassadors in recent years. Now, President Herzog, who we spoke about just a moment ago, has been a very busy man. He just hosted an Iftar meal, that is the traditional meal that Muslims take after their fast day during the month of Ramadan. He invited at least 200 people to his residence in Jerusalem, including some foreign diplomats, soccer stars, members of civil society, Arab community leaders, religious leaders, and a whole host of lucky people who were invited to break their fast. The president also spoke about how he finds Ramadan to be a very beautiful and moving month, and that he can identify with its spiritual significance. Now, Israelis are continuing to clean house and frantically cook and run to do the shopping before we welcome in Pesach, which starts tomorrow night. And President Herzog is no different. He will be hosting lone soldiers and Ukrainian refugees at his residence. But what is Israel like at the moment? Well, everybody's frantically cleaning, getting rid of those last vestiges of chametz, that is anything that is leavened like bread and pasta and rice and all those things, depending on your tradition, whether you are Ashkenazi or Mizrahi or Sephardi, what you believe. Tomorrow is also the start of Easter, and we want to wish our Christian viewers a very, very blessed Easter. It's quite something to be in Jerusalem this time of the year, with Muslims celebrating Ramadan, Jews celebrating Pesach, which is the festival that commemorates our flight from slavery in Egypt into freedom. And I think we all will be thinking of Ukrainian refugees who have had to flee due to the war in their country. And we also have Easter, and we know that many Christian pilgrims visit Israel during this time of the year and make their way to the old city. And tomorrow Israel will be filled with the aroma of chametz being burnt as we perform the last bit of bedikat chametz, checking to see what still remains and taking it to be burnt. It is a wonderful time of the year, and also for Israeli signals the start of spring. So from all of us at Lay of the Land, to all of you, we want to wish you Ramadan Mubarak, a very blessed Easter, and Chag Pesach Kosher V'Sameach, and Chag Aviv Sameach. But don't worry, if you're looking for reading material this week, please look no further than our website at www.layoftheland.online. We're also on Facebook at Lottel's site. Don't you want to give us a like or a follow if you haven't already done so, and share our content? We're on YouTube. Our channel is The Israel Brief. Please consider giving us a like, a share, and hitting that subscribe button so we can bring Israel stories out to as many people as possible. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. And I believe Elon Musk has made a big bid to buy Twitter. So let's see how that works out. But from all of us here to all of you out there, we wish you a wonderful, a peaceful, and a safe weekend wherever you are. Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom, and don't forget to check in with us on Monday for your top stories.